just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another Packer Up, boys, and we are back in the studio. The lights are back on. The whole block's back on. Thank God. Matty, how you been, bro?
I'm good. Yeah, literally, it's like, for those that don't know, like I drove home on Wednesday night from my grandparents' house and I thought I took the wrong turn because all the street lights were off and all the traffic lights were off because I know turn right at these traffic lights and I couldn't look. Like all the traffic lights in the area were off, all the street lights were off. I came here yesterday. I had to use my phone torch just to walk through that corridor. It was, yeah, there was absolutely no chance of getting a potty out yesterday.
Yeah, obviously went to Hello Sport podcast. We released it from there. You know what's something weird? I realised yesterday that I've been in a toxic relationship for a very long time. Bro, you want to hear something crazy? And this isn't even an ad. This is actually, I cannot believe what happened. So obviously the lights go out or whatever. We realised Thursday that we can't, no one can use anything in here. No lights, no nothing. Bro, Lontel actually called me to tell me that the internet's out and how can we help you with anything.
You're kidding.
I swear to God. Like, I'll show you, like, so I was getting a phone call from a Tasmanian number, Launceston in Tasmania. Like, I can show you the bloody thing. And you know when they leave a message and it tells you, like they leave a message on your phone and that?
Yep.
I've never experienced something like that. I didn't have to call the internet company to say my internet's out. They called me asking if they can, any way they can help, letting me know the situation, what's going on. The electrical bill didn't, like electricity company, they didn't call us. Like all these other things that could be connected to this block, no one called us. Lontel called us. Like honestly, as I said, this isn't that. I just cannot believe it. It just popped into my head literally just then.
That is top-notch customer service.
Fuck. When they were like, you know, when you talk, because I was speaking to Andrew about, because initially it was just, we were mates, we'll get along playing video games together. But then obviously the story, how I told the story on Monday, and then we got all these messages about, oh mate, tell us more about the internet. So when we were sitting there like going, you know what, like the bloke audience is keen as anything. Let's partner, let's do something together. He was like, mate, I'm not taking the piss, but we've won customer service 5 years in a row. And you know when you hear that, usually you're thinking like it's some, you know, Bob's customer service of the year. You know what I mean? Some random organisation gives customer the service of the year so that they can say that they've won customer service of the year. But after experiencing that, like, bro, I've got multiple emails from Lontel telling me, not even that my internet's out, that the power is out here.
Wow.
Like, that's insane, bro.
Just another thing on the internet thing. Like, obviously everyone messages the bloke account, right? I very, very rarely get messages from people about, like, anyone who messages me is just about, like, how bad Souths are or something, something silly like that or something about the show. I even got messages asking about the Lawntel thing because, and like what that tells me is, it's just everyone's internet just sucks.
Mate.
Which it does.
And you don't realise this, that the NBN in Australia now is actually good. You just haven't been made aware of it. NBN is mad now. As I said, I've already said, like, the average speed for Australian households is 100 megabits. That Lontel have just released something called multi-gig. That's 2,000 megabits. And that's what I've got at home. And so, yeah, like, and I've gotten texts, hey, bruh, the Wi-Fi is a game changer. Switched over today from another company. They'd always screw me around. It's been shit ever since Lontel sorted me out. Like, the amount of messages I've got of people going, bro, seriously, this is like game changer. Anyway, that just popped into my head then. So, guys, with that out of the way, listen, instead of doing an ad later in the show, I'll just tell you now. Yeah. Got a link in the show notes. Matter of fact, we've actually got our own landing page now. This is how quickly this has all come together too. Because, like, if we were to plan this partnership like you usually do, when you launch is when you have a landing page, not waiting 2 weeks or whatever into it. And so that only just got sorted tonight because we've been rushing a bit around the clock trying to get it. So go to Lontel, LAUNTEL.net.au/partners/bloke. The link will be in the show notes. But if you just go to /partners/bloke, make sure to sign up there, guys. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. I promise you, it is life-changing. So massive thank you. No contracts, no credit cards needed. Free first week, $25 credit if you use code bloke. You will not be disappointed. Massive shout out to Lontel. And as I said, I just never experienced a business that actually calls you when there's a problem to help you out. I've never, ever experienced that in my life. Absolute legends over at Lontel. Going down to PAX East in a couple of weeks too, which I'm super, super keen on. This weekend I'll be playing Borderlands 4. Add us, I'm Bloke in a Bar on Steam. I've got a bunch of different ads on the weekend as well, so add us on Steam. I was playing Borderlands 4 the other day with just some Bloke community members, not even Like just random people that added me on Steam from last week when I put it up. So give us an ad, play some games together. Ghost of Yotai is coming out soon. I am going to play the shit out of that game. I cannot wait.
I tell you what, if you work from home as well, because I usually come in here, and a lot of that is because I live pretty close, but like a big part of the reason is my internet at home sucks. And I would always come in here just to go to Guru's studio, which is Lontel. Now I've got Lontel at my house, and I work a bit more from there now. So like if you work from home, it's absolutely,
it's so good. And also, like for example, yesterday we don't get charged for that day.
Exactly.
Because you can pause it where you only pay for what you use, and you only pay for the speed you use. So most people just go on the normal agreement, like I think it's like $3 a day or something like that. But then when you want to download heaps, you crank it up all the way to the crazy speeds. And I think there's over 150,000 homes that aren't aware that they can get upgraded for free to fiber. It used to cost you 30 grand to get upgraded. And so this isn't even Lontel, this is the NBN. You can get upgraded for free. And so we'll try and get that link to check your address, whether you can get upgraded for free from copper to fiber. But yeah, the NBN is actually hectic now. You know, we went through all these years where there was issues or whatever. They've actually sorted it. They've improved it. And do not forget, guys, get your Grumpy Coffee. It is honestly the best coffee. Even when we launched in Grumpy Coffee, we got, most of it was like 5 stars, but there were a couple of 2 stars or whatever. And I'm going, oh shit, I hate the coffee. I remember reading them, and it literally said in the review, because we only had 1 or 2 of them that weren't 5-star, it literally said, coffee is amazing. It just took too long to get to me. So that's how good this coffee is, guys. If you love coffee, get your Grumpy Coffee. You will not regret it. Got different blends every day, very grumpy. We've got pods, we've got whole bean, we've got ground, 85 cup rating. You will not be disappointed with Grumpy Coffee. And also it's cool. Turning that frown upside down. That's what this brand is all about. When you get your coffee out in the morning, you look at the packaging and it turns your frown upside down, and it's beautiful coffee. Outside of that, mate, are you keen for this weekend? How you feeling?
I'm so keen for this weekend. I will say one thing, and I've actually been toing and froing with myself. It's a bit of a, you can't have your cake and eat it too. But I'm a little bit off it that there's no footy tonight. Just a little bit.
Feels weird, eh?
But I love that we have Sunday Arvo footy. So now I'm kind of just like, what would I actually rather? Because I like the Friday time slot better, as in like, I'd rather watch footy at Friday night. But
Sunday Arvo is the best.
Well, case in point, Raiders versus Bronx.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm excited, but no games tonight. It feels weird.
I didn't realise how much I missed finals footy until last week.
Fully.
Like the message, the group chat's going off. Like we're all fully engaged in the game. It's so exciting. We're very lucky to do what we do, but towards the back end of the season does get a bit monotonous, but finals footy, it is the best, like far out. From the games this weekend, let's get straight into a preview. Let's get straight into a preview. Obviously, we've got the huge match, Raiders versus Sharkies. Sharkies paying $2.44. And look, I said this last week too, so I'm not a hindsight hero. Mate, I reckon Sharkies are quietly confident. I really, you go back to their game early this year, it was literally Hudson Young made a line break, Sebastian Chris on the other side of the field scored that try. I think it's Savage might have kicked in or whatever. It was a crazy try with a minute to go. What I find surprising with this, and look, maybe, guys, I'll put my hand up and say I got it wrong next week. You guys know that. But, what evidence do we have that the Raiders are this much better than the Sharkies? They were really close during the year when they played each other. The Sharkies have beaten most top-tier sides this year. They pretty solidly beat the Roosters last week. It wasn't a close game. I know it wasn't a blowout or anything. Now, granted, I definitely believe the Raiders deserve to be favourites. Absolutely. If you're not looking at odds or whatever, and you're not trying to pick upsets or whatever, I think they should be favourites, and I think that the likelihood that they win is probably more likely than Sharkies. But I think the Sharkies are looking at this one going, mate, we got close to earlier this year. We just knocked off the Roosters, who everyone said was the dark horses. We're coming up against the Raiders side that's had a shortish turnaround, a 95-minute game where they're going to be a bit banged up. This is our. We won a finals game last year, won a finals game this week. We made a prelim last year as well. I reckon the Sharkies are looking at this going, let's go down and ambush them.
Well, the Raiders, as you said, they're going to be not only physically banged up because they played 95 minutes, they're going to be emotionally banged up because they thought they were in a prelim 3 times.
Mate, the fallout from that game's been like a grand final.
And so it should have been. It was podium for craziest games of all time.
Well, put it this way. One of the game's biggest superstars, Reece Walsh, essentially the game's biggest superstar, obviously Cleary's, but essentially, one of. gave the finger to fans, and we don't even talk about it that much. Like, it wasn't even that big of a story. Like, I know it made a little bit of a wave, but because the game was so crazy, he gave the finger to a bunch of fans, and we barely spoke about it.
Yeah, because it was so far down on the priority list.
And look, I know people, hang on a sec, there were stories about it. Bro, on a normal week, without a game being that hectic, if Reece Walsh gave the finger to the fans, it would be on every TV news headline station, every single news outlet, it would be across the whole thing.
Well,
the whole thing.
This is the God honest truth. You just said it then. I haven't thought about it since Monday.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Imagine Nathan Cleary walked off doing those ones to the fans in a normal game. Bro, it would be on every talkback radio show. And understandably so. It's a pretty rogue thing to do. But that's how crazy the game was. Because people are like, bruh, I don't like, okay, yeah, Reece Walsh definitely shouldn't be giving the fingers to the crowd. But who gives a shit? We just witnessed one of the greatest games, most entertaining games of rugby league we've ever seen in our lives.
Like, even on Monday when you were recapping it, like, obviously I remembered everything, but like when you were like the Jed Stewart no try, I was like, oh yeah, like just there was just so many things happening there to remind yourself.
The Broncos had 2 people sin binned at the same time. We're not like, no one's even talking about the fact that they had 11 men at one stage and they still managed to win because it was such a crazy game of rugby league. So it could work in 2 ways. It could, they could be emotionally fatigued, physically fatigued, or it could motivate the shit out of them to go, we are going to ice games. We are never going to let that happen again, where we've got the game in the bag. Because, like, people that didn't actually watch the game and maybe watch the highlights, if you actually watch the game, the Raiders dominated the Broncos for 65 minutes or so. Physically, like, the Broncos could not get out of their end. The Raiders were absolutely outstanding defensively. If that Raiders rocks up again and can not make as many errors, I think that they definitely can win quite, not a blowout, but a quite solid win against the Sharkies. Like, the best version of the Raiders versus the best version against the Sharkies, I think the Raiders win by, 12 points or so. Maybe even a little bit more. But that is the big question, is like a 6-day turnaround, one of the craziest games we've ever seen. The Sharkies flying under the radar. Some people have pushed back on the Nico Hines comment. I agree with him. I tend to agree with him. I do think a lot of people don't give the Sharkies the respect they deserve. I spoke about it a lot on the captain's run. But yeah, so in regards to this game, who have you got winning it in the preview?
I've got it close in the odds. I agree. I think Raiders deserve to be favourites. They minor premiers. They're at home. But again, like, they're emotionally tired. They're mentally tired. That could galvanise them. Like, they did... I don't know. They had their awards night on Monday. That would have been their time to like get together and like, all right, we're gonna. But again, they're a young team. This could definitely go the other way.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Raiders and the Broncos are the most inexperienced final side which is bizarre because I would have thought the Bulldogs would have been. But like, maybe it's Critters, all of his games that like count for a lot potentially.
Yeah, possibly.
But at least that's what the commentators said. I'm trying to think like. Walsh, he's had one run, so he had like 4 games. Walters 4 games. Like, surely the Broncos are not that.
I can't imagine how. I mean,
but that's what the commentators said.
I mean, it's probably true, but like, it doesn't make sense immediately because the Broncos were in a grand final
only 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and the Doggies have played one finals game together. Anyway, just going back to your thing about how good the Raiders looked. I remember when Strange scored. I got up to go to the bathroom. My mate texted me going, and he's a Sharks fan. He was like, I'm actually pretty excited that we're not playing the Raiders next week because at that point everyone thought the Raiders had won because the Raiders look so hot. Like, because so much happened between Strange's try and the end of the game, people are forgetting how hot the Raiders did look for the first 50 minutes.
Yep.
They were mad.
That was like the only thing that hurt them is all the errors they made, but Broncos made the same amount of errors. But in regards to like their defense and stuff, they absolutely physically dominated the Broncos. So you have to remember that. If they can do that again with less errors, the Sharks won't be able to go with them. Like, they just won't.
See, for this game, I find it really hard to predict because not only do I think either team can win, I also think either team could win in a close grind, but I can also see either team running away with it. Just because of what happened to the Raiders last week and just because the Sharks are kind of feeling like the hunted with at the moment with blood in the water and whatever Nico said during the week, which I will say I agree with as well. Like, just touching on that for a sec. Like, Roosters have been so good, except for like that game against the Eels. Roosters have been mad for the last 2 months. Like, I know they didn't play to their best, but the Sharks were mad. The Sharks were awesome. They were down 6-0 early and they came back to win. It was a great performance. I think they're not getting enough credit either, but yeah, it's...
Well, let's get into this. This is my Sharkies, and I'll try and keep it short, guys, because I spoke about it yesterday. But this is my Sharkies rant. since Fitzy's taken over, they have the same amount of finals wins as the Roosters in 2022. And yet, and I understand the idea, well, the Roosters already won premierships under Trent Robinson, so that's why they don't get as much pressure. But I'm like, shouldn't that be more pressure? Like, all the talk heading into finals footy is always, not all the talk, but a lot of the talk is Sharkies are there just making up the numbers. They can't win finals games. They can't beat top tier sides. Well, you look at the Roosters since 2022. They've also only won 2 finals games. And yet their roster on paper is substantially better than the Sharkies. And on top of that, people go, yeah, we've had injuries heading to finals footy. I on the show yesterday, I read out the sides that they had in those finals games. Granted, they did have injuries. Their roster on paper was still really good, really good. And you know what? I'm not just picking on the Roosters either. The Broncos are in the same boat. Like, if you take out 2023, the Broncos' last 5 years have been diabolical in finals footy. And you look at the team they got on paper, it is like, and so my point is this: the Sharks on paper don't have a single current Origin player. You know, they have Hines, who came in through injury, and obviously, you know, that whole thing happened. McInnes, who was there through injury. Adam Fanua-Blake is really, at full strength, Adam Fanua-Blake is really the only player that would be playing Origin in this Sharky side. Now, these other sides, like, I read it on the thingo, but, and apologies if I read this on Monday as well, guys, but I just want to just drive my point home of, like, how much the Sharks overachieve rather than underachieve. Rather than, like, a lot of people think they underachieve and they can't. I think when you look at their play team on roster, they overachieve. Okay, so this was the Sharks starting pack: Adam Fanua-Blake, Blake Brayley, Rudolph, Billy Burns, Teague Wilton, Jesse Colquhoun. Like, respectfully, like, Toby Rudolph, Billy Burns, Teague Wilton, Jesse Colquhoun. Honestly, I don't think they would make the bench. One of them might make the bench for the Roosters. And so then you look, okay, let's look across it. This is the Roosters pack that they played against. Spencer Lenu, Origin player. Connor Watson, Origin player. Lindsay Collins, Origin player. Angus Crichton, Origin player. Victor Radley would have played Origin by this stage, but chose to play for England. He's a top tier player. Is he at his heights at the moment? No, but I consider him a good, solid player. Or at least compared to some of these guys we just mentioned. Like, he's better than Toby Rudolph and Colquhoun and Wilton. And, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
White at 13. I would consider him a premier front rower now, this year that he's had.
Honestly, and this may be pushing it, I reckon, like, how the Dally M's have, like, their nominees for props of the year, I reckon he's a shout to, like, just be one of the nominees.
Like, maybe Haas, and it'll be between him, May, and Tarpanet probably.
Yeah.
And so that's my point. And then you look at the Broncos, for example. Outside of that run they had last year, on paper, they hadn't won a finals game since 2019 or something. And so that's my point with the Sharkies, is that, yes, I am not sitting here saying that they're setting the world alight and we should all be sitting there going, what an incredible year from the Sharkies. But this constant, like, we move the goalpost every year for them. So when Fitzy first came in, I've said it before, but they were averaging about 22 points per season. That wouldn't get you close to the 8 these days. They were 9th or 10th the year before he came in. A year before that, they scraped into 8, and I think it was like the first year a losing team made into the 8, something like that. Since he's arrived, they have averaged 34 points a season, around, I'll say 32 to 36, around there, which gets you in the top 6 each time. And so the first year, it was a great year from Fitzy. First year, he gets Nico Hines gets a Dally M. Then the second year was, well, the first year they had a super easy run. That's why their draw was super easy. So the second year they come in, then the yarn started to be about, well, they can't beat top tier sides. And then in the third year, they went down to the Melbourne Storm with an understrength side and beat a Melbourne Storm side. Okay, then the next yarn was they can't win any finals games. Last year, what do? They win finals games.
Yep.
And they made a prelim last year.
Yeah, and got knocked out by the 4-time premiers.
And also put up a pretty good fight for at least 60 minutes of that game. Then this year, they still, for some reason, had this hanging over their shoulders of they can't beat top tier sides. They beat the Storm, they beat the Dogs, and they were this close to beating the Raiders. So that's 3 of the top 4.
Yeah.
They towed the Broncos up, and then that last 20 minutes, Broncos do what they always friggin' do. So they've beaten top tier sides, and also they won the first week of finals. That's just my point. It's like, whenever the Sharkies get a win or they improve, it's always like, well, they had an easy draw, or, Roosters have been playing finals footy for the last 8 weeks. Like, there's always a reason or an excuse as to why they got to win. No, hang on a sec. Going into that game against the Roosters, barely anyone gave the Sharkies a chance. So much so, they were 5th playing 8th at home, and they were pretty heavy underdogs, like $2.30 or 40 or something like that. And they were playing 8th. And so once they beat them, the excuse is, oh, well, the Roosters have been playing at that level for a long, they were tired. It's like, well, if you're a Sharkies fan, you're sitting there going, mate, no matter what we do, there's always an excuse as to why we won.
Yeah, we never get credit for it.
We never get credit for it. Like, and as I said, they still are underwhelming to where I had them at the start of the year, which was a premiership threat. I mean, to be fair, who knows? Maybe they do make a prelim. We don't know what will happen. However, I just don't think, when you look at that roster, I'd argue it's overachieving, and I'd argue it's not exactly, but it's pretty much where you would hope from a rookie coach arriving at a club. And we have to remember, it's essentially the smallest club in the NRL with the least resources. Maybe the Titans are smaller, but it's essentially, like, it is a tiny club. You've got this rookie coach, he comes in, and each year he gets better and better and better, to the point where, gets him into a final series, gets him into a second final series. Okay, they tread him water a little bit. Third final series, he gets his finals wins, gets him into a prelim. Fourth final series, he gets his win first week, and if he wins this week, it's another prelim. I think that's pretty bloody good progression for a side that, like, again, a small side with no Origin players in it right now.
I think as well, and I agree with all of that, I think as well this year, like, because obviously the thing's been, all right, they can't beat finals, as you said, like 2 years ago, and, they taper off in finals. Fitzy's tapered this team perfectly so far to this exact point, because like, don't forget, in round 15 when they lost to the reserve grade Roosters, like, I don't know if that was the last game, but there was like a 4-game window where they
were terrible.
They just kept losing.
Yeah, they were terrible.
Since then, they've lost 1 game, and that was a freak loss to the Dragons. So like, if they, okay, everyone hates ifs and buts, but like, they bottled that game. They shouldn't have lost that game against the Dragons.
They're in the top 4.
Let's say if they win that game, they've won 8 games in a row.
And so like, again, people are going to confuse what I'm saying like, I'm trying to sit here and say the Sharkies should be celebrated and they're a premiership heavyweight. No, I'm not saying that. But there is a world between how the Sharkies are treated in the wider audience of rugby league and where they really are right now, which is I believe, a club pretty much overachieving when you look at the roster, when you look at the resources, and you look at the fact that their coach is in his 4th year of head coaching.
Question. So just say the Sharks lose this week, say 20-14. How would you rate that year?
I'd say okay year. Not great, definitely not bad, but I'd say okay year.
And then if they do beat the Raiders, but then lose to Melbourne,
good year.
I'd say that's an awesome year. If they just the way.
No, the only reason I say good is because I had them as a premiership heavyweight at the start of the year.
And that's what I was going to say. I did as well. But like,
things changed.
Things did change halfway through the year. I thought they weren't going to make the finals at one point. They were looking so bad.
It looked so bad.
So
I'd say prelim is good. Grand final is great.
Yep.
They bow out this year. I say okay. I say not making finals, that's bad.
Of course.
But funnily enough, again, on paper, there are teams that didn't make the finals on paper that have better rosters. Anyway, now, the people that complain and go, hey, Denon, you said that all yesterday in the captain's run or whatever, sorry, you could have pressed fast forward at any time, bro. That's where the button is. Just fast forward, take you 2 seconds. Okay. I cannot wait for this. Now, in saying all of that, I do want a Broncos Raiders grand final.
Absolutely.
I honestly think it'll break all sorts of records, because I just think that so many of the wider audience that hate the Broncos, love the Raiders, but witnessed that game that they played last week are going to be like, I want to see that again in a grand final.
I said it a few weeks ago. I know this doesn't mean much, but like, they were the 2 teams of the 90s. And for some reason, it's just like South and Roosters, how they just didn't meet in the grand final in that early 2010s. We got robbed of it because South choked once and Roosters choked once. Anyway, they never got to play that game in the 90s. And just after that, what happened last week, it would just be such a fairy tale if that could be the grand final. And then I'd go for the Raiders, but then it wouldn't really matter who'd won. It'd be a great story.
One thing I'm just becoming more and more aware of, and it shows you how insulated and in a bubble you can be. I just never realised how hated the Broncos are.
Yeah.
They are hated by the rest of the NRL. Like, even when they win, you can tell, like, when they're analysing the game or whatever, like, they'll be begrudgingly going, oh, Broncos won, like, you know, great game. But, like, let's say it was the Raiders had won, it would be like, you know, cheering. Look, I understand why. It's more I'm just expressing how I just was never aware of it. And it's because I didn't grow up watching rugby league, so I don't have the history. I don't have all that. But, mate, they are so hated. So hated.
But it's also because you grew up in Queensland. Like, I am very aware of that.
Yeah,
like, growing up,
true.
none of my friends... Like, we had a thing at school that everyone agreed on, that the Broncos are just always offside. Just at all times, they're always offside.
That's
which is
so good.
Which is obviously not true, but it's just something
it's
just something that happened growing up.
That's fair. Look, and as I said, I understand it. I get it. I really do. Okay, on to the next game. Sharks versus Raiders is going to be a belter, I reckon.
Yeah,
absolute
absolutely.
belter. They are two teams where I don't mind who wins. If the Raiders go through, I'm stoked because the Raiders, they're my second team in this top 8. If the Sharkies go through, I'm stoked too because as you guys know, like I've been a Sharks glazer this year. Okay, on to the next game.
So just one more thing. Do you reckon both these teams can beat Melbourne?
Mate, yeah, I reckon.
So do I.
Like, it's just hard. Like Melbourne at their best. I don't think anyone's beaten Melbourne at their best.
But when have they been at their best?
That's the thing. And Hughes comes back, first game back from injury to a degree. Like, he hasn't been out for that long. But Sharkies have beaten them this year. Raiders have beaten them this year, I'm pretty sure. So, like,
I think so.
You know, absolutely they can. Absolutely they can. Now, I would still have Storm as favourites, though, with Jerome Hughes coming back into the side, Pappy coming back into the side. Like, the Storm will essentially be full strength in the prelim.
Oh, that's right. They beat him at Magic Round when KO Weeks did that crazy chip and chase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, what a year from KO Weeks. Like, we haven't spoken about this bloke. It's gotten lost in the noise because of what happened with Reece Walsh. Bro, KO Weeks Kyo Weeks was unbelievable. Every time he got the ball as a Broncos fan, I was stressing out. He created problem after problem after problem. And if Walsh didn't have one of the best 15 minutes you've ever seen, we'd all be talking about Kyo Weeks' coming of age. And, you know, it's one thing to be a guy that's playing above what everyone thought you would in season, but to come into week 1 of the finals and do what Kyo Weeks did last week, and not enough people are talking about it. And granted, I'm guilty of it too. We all got caught up in the Walsh and the Broncos train of, I can't believe that happened. But Kyo Weeks last week was absolutely phenomenal. Like, he was easily one of the best players on the field. And I'd be happy, you know, if the Raiders did win, to give him man of the match. Him and Hudson Young, obviously, those two. But this is what he did in his first finals game. So I'm pretty sure this has been Kyo Weeks' first finals game.
It is, yep.
253 metres, 2 tries, 8 tackle breaks, a line break, 3 tackles, 2 tries and 253 metres and 8 tackle breaks in his first finals game. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Kyo Weeks has been phenomenal this year. It's so good. And what has just like topped it all off for me, where I've gone, this guy is the real deal. It's finals footy. It's one thing to play good footy during the year. Very few people in the grand scheme of things play good in finals games. He didn't just play good. He was one of the best on the field. On a field of stars, Kyo Weeks was one of the best. You know, like we look at a guy like Hudson Young, who's an Origin player now, played for his country. Like Kyo Weeks played at that level. And so, mate, I just think he's been unbelievable. Like this year, he's had 11 tries. He's forced 3 dropouts. He's had 7 try assists, 9 line break assists, 4 offloads. His average running meters is 160 running meters. Like, he has had such a good year. And also, think about how many clutch moments this bloke has had this year. Like, against the Storm early in the year, the chip and chase. Like, he has had so many clutch moments. So, it'll get lost in the noise. Like, I'd even go as far to say, if Reece Walsh didn't have this crazy run of form, you would, like, and I think he's a Kiwi, obviously. But if he was not a Kiwi, a lot of ifs, you'd probably have him in the conversation for the Australian squad.
Yep.
Now, obviously, Walsh's form, and then you've got Edwards being the incumbent and Teddy being the Dalian Player of the Year. But, I mean, you lock him into fullback for the Kiwis, don't you?
Oh, you have to.
Not even a question.
Yeah, you have to.
Unless you wanted to move RTS back there, but I think RTS has been great on the wing.
RTS can move anywhere. I'd be getting Weeks in that side.
Kyo Weeks has to be in the fullback for the Kiwis, I think. He's just been phenomenal. And, like, truly one of those players that I thought, you know, heaps of talent, and he could be a good first grader. I never saw this coming.
I remember in the trials, I think it was against the Sharks, he caught a ball pretty much on his try line, did this crazy like line break where he ran to the other side of the field and then put Ethan Strange over. It was a hectic try.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, damn, that's devastating for weeks because like that's not going to be a real like highlight thing because he'll probably
Stewart will be the fullback.
Well, that, but I'm like, he'll never do something like that ever again.
Oh, in the NRL, okay, yeah.
And since then, he's done the Storm thing. He did it twice against the Dragons. He did it against Penrith. I know, you know, that was mostly Strange, but still, like as you said, he's had so many moments. So
he still had to be there.
Of course,
mate. He has just been so good. So, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for this weekend. As I said, whoever goes through, Raiders, Sharks, I would say it would be good. I mean, we still got doggies there. We still got doggies there, but it would be good if like both of them could go through because I'm such a big fan of them. Anyway, on to the next game, the Panthers v the Dogs. Man, I've got to say, look, I know the Dogs. Could you try and find out like how many players they're actually missing? Because do they have their outs on the app?
I'll just look at the casualty ward. So
casualty ward.
Critter's out. Montoya or Critter's. Who knows with Critter?
Both Critter and Montoya's could find themselves back into the side.
Yeah, and then Sherry's back.
He's back.
Only Tuala, according to this.
Which is not. He wouldn't be a part of their starting 13.
Yeah.
If starting 17. Sorry. What I find crazy, because at least Montoya, it looking like he's most likely going to be back in the side, at least to my understanding. But what I find crazy is like they are so heavy underdogs. And really, yes, Critter is their captain. I get it. He is their captain. But really, they're missing 2 outside backs. Like they're not missing 2 spine players. They're not missing 2, like a key front rower. And, they're missing 2 outside backs. And they've been, the rugby league community has gone so far off them. They're paying like, what is it, $3?
Yeah, I'll check. It's like $3.50 or something.
So they're at their home ground too. They're paying $3.34 against a Penrith Panthers side who they nearly beat earlier in this year.
And not only are they at their home ground, they're not going to pack the joint out, but there's going to be 60, 70,000 Doggies fans there.
Yeah. And also, like, look, it's looking like Mitch Kenny is back. But right now, Kenny's not in the side either. So the Panthers are at least missing 1 player. Now, if he comes back into the side, they're at full strength. But again, like, I'm just surprised at how far they've floated out because I would love to get the odds of what would be the odds if they were full strength? You know, would it be 250? Would it be 220?
I think with Critter, they'd still be pretty outsiders.
And that's what's so surprising to me. We're talking about a side that led the comp for a lot of the year, ended up finishing 3rd, has taken Penrith already to the death. Like, that was a close as anything game last night they played, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? Like 2 points?
So the last game they played didn't count because that was when everyone rested.
Yep.
But the time before that, it was 8-6, and Cleary, the only try was a Cleary charge down from Penrith.
Yeah. And so that's where I'm just like, geez, it shows you how far. I'd love to see the odds if they came out middle of the season. I know the Panthers, but let's say the Panthers are playing as good as they are now, and the Dogs it was round 14 for the Dogs. I reckon the odds would be like $1.82, and with the Panthers being favourites because it's a finals game.
Yeah.
Anyway, this game, what's just, I guess, so like the positive for the Dogs is no one's giving them a chance. Like literally, no one's giving them a chance. Me personally, I've got the Panthers winning quite comfortably. But the positive is like you've got a home game and 80 minutes to have the game of your life and ambush the Premiers. You've got a former coach that understands the systems. You've proven to yourselves before that you can get close to this team. But I just think the Penrith Panthers, they're rested. It's the first time all year. If Mitch Kenny plays, it's the first time all year they'll be full strength.
And it's like, that's crazy. And it's the best they've looked all year. Like, they just keep getting better and better and better. Like, against the Warriors last week, I was just in there almost in tears going, they're going to win again. This whole comp.
I know. Like, right now, take my heart out of it, take all the emotion out of it. It's looking like it's going to be a Penrith Storm grand final.
If Penrith do win this week and then we're down to 4, Penrith are my favourites. But just because they have to play that extra game, I've still got... I know that doesn't actually make sense, but like it's just a vibe. It's just a vibe thing.
It's all vibe.
Like, what if Penrith make that prelim? How can I possibly back against them?
How would you ever bet against the Panthers? Yeah, okay, they got to go to some corp, but we don't know what Broncos are going to turn up.
Exactly.
Is it going to be the red hot, best team you've ever seen, or is it going to be the team that drops a ball every bloody second set?
Imagine like the stories that come out, like revenge game for 2023.
But that's the thing, though. This Panthers side, a lot of these players, they have that mental edge. Like, that's always in the back of their head. If the game's close with 10 minutes to go, it'll be the greatest test of Broncos' mental fortitude in the last decade. Because you're basically asking those players to set aside those demons, those scars, and go, no, we can still win it. They're not going to do it to us again.
And didn't Penrith, I know we're jumping ahead a week, but didn't Penrith pump Broncos at Suncorp this year at Magic Round?
Yeah, I think it was like a solid win. So it's, like they've got the wood over the the Broncos. I think the Broncos have only been on once once in the last 4 or 5 years. Anyway, back to this game.
Yep.
Oh, man, there is mail, and this blows my mind. There is mail, and it's getting stronger, that Reid Marnie could start at 9.
I know. But apparently that's only if, and this is what I heard, I don't know how true this is, but apparently that's only if Critter doesn't come back. Apparently if Critter does come back, Marnie doesn't even make the team.
How does that make sense?
I don't know.
So if Critter doesn't come back, he starts at 9.
So if Critter does come back, apparently Burton goes back to 6.
Yep.
And Galvin goes to 7 and Sexton goes to bench, and they'll keep Haywood. But apparently this is what I heard on 360 last night.
Yeah.
But then if it stays the same, then that's when Marnie might start.
And then where does Haywood go? 13 or 14?
I'm not sure. I'd say 14.
There's got to be a specific game plan that Sorrello's trying to work to, but I just wonder, like, I understood the Garvin. I know we've spoken about this so many times. I got the Garvin one. He was on the market. It's better to have him long term. Like, Sorrello's not trying to get close to one premiership and then, like, whatever. He's trying to build a dynasty. So I respect it. But I just wonder, like, did they outthink the room mid-year instead of just going, hang on a sec, yeah, okay, there are certain things that we could be better at, but we're on top of the table. We're having games where we're getting close to beating these top-tier sides. I mean, because, like, Reid Marnie, he was... When they beat the Raiders early this year in that second half crazy, Sexton was still in the halves and Reid Marnie was still their 9.
Yeah.
So you're beating top-tier sides. Look, it's hard to be too harsh on Sorrello, though, because I am a believer in his intelligence when it comes to rugby league. We can sit here and tear Sorrello apart. If we're just looking at this year, we could say, mate, wrong call, too soon. You had an opportunity to go for a premiership this year, potentially. Yes, the question still would have lingered. Do you have the players in key positions to take that next step? Yes, those questions still would have lingered, for sure. Like, I think a lot of people said, can this spine win a premiership? However, you are closer to it than you are currently. The problem is, if you go really harsh on Sorrello now, what happens next year when Woods has a crazy preseason, Galvin gets moved to 6, Burton goes to centre, Critter goes to the other centre, or Critter goes to fullback, and then all of a sudden you've got a spine of Haywood, Wood, Galvin, Critter. You know, like that's a decent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the Bulldogs become a premiership heavyweight, and all those people talking crap about Sorrello this year go, well, these decisions were made for the future. They weren't made for that year. So that's where it's like, and you've got to be fair to the Dogs. They've always been pretty clear these decisions aren't made about this year. They're made about the next 3 or 4 years. So it's not like that. Let's say they made these calls, they miss out on, you know, a deep push this year, and then they come out and kill it next year, and they turn around, whoa, well, actually, these decisions last year, they were made for this year. No, they've been really clear. These are long-term decisions.
Yep.
So it's hard to be too harsh. Now, but if you're just looking at this year, if you're just looking at trying to win a comp this year, it was a wrong call. At least the Galvin one, their hands were tied. He was on the market. They needed to get him. But I just think the Marnie one was a wrong call. I just don't get it. Like, you know, on top of all that, could have you gone, Galvin comes into the side at 6, Sexton stays 7, keep Marnie at 9, Haywood goes to 13, Burton goes to centre, Critter goes back to fullback?
I'd keep Critter at centre, but besides that, that's exactly what I would have done.
And then what, Bronson goes to a wing?
Yeah.
Because he could play wing, Bronson. He's
a
definitely
freak. Yeah.
talented enough. And then what, Montoya on the other wing? At full strength?
Because Kiraz
on one wing, and then Montoya is pushing for a spot, and Sherry is on the wing.
Yeah. Either way, so going back to your first thing, in 5 years, I'm going to bet right now that we'll all look back and go, that was the right call.
Yeah.
But right now, when I look at this team list, I feel better with Sexton at 7. And if I can imagine Marty at 9, I feel better. I feel better this week with those decisions. So I don't know why he just pulled the trigger.
The one thing in the Dogs' defense is that, like, there are some people going, if you didn't make those calls, we'd be a premiership heavyweight. And if you didn't make those calls mid-year, I was saying I do feel they can win the comp. I will say, though, there was always a lingering question, can this spine win the comp? Can the spine of Sexton, Burton, Marnie, and Tracy, can that spine win the comp? Like, that was the question. And, you know, you look at their forwards or whatever. So I will say, in the Bulldogs' defence, this idea that if they had have kept the spine as it is, that they would have definitely been a premiership heavyweight. I still think some of the better minds in rugby league were always like, this spine doesn't have that extra gear in them, you know? So, yeah, it's such a complicated situation, but, oh, man.
So it's tough. It's very tough because we don't know the answers. And
well, to be honest, we're only going to know the answers in 2 years' time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, in 2 years' time, we'll find out. Because, like, let's say next year, because, like, that's what I was trying to say on Monday. Like, it's not a guarantee that this team just, like, is gun next year. Like, it's not a guarantee. In 2 years' time, if they go backwards, you might look back at this year and go, mate, premiership windows do not come very often, and they screwed it for themselves. Like, they were too confident that this premiership window would just be there for them in 2 years' time. So that's the only time we're going to know. Because, like, even next year, they could tread water for a year. Really, and I will say in the Dogs' defence, Mitch Wood has always been their long-term plan at 7. That's been clear from before Garvin even arrived at the club. So we're only going to know in 2 years' time if this was all worth it, really.
Yeah. I will ask you one thing, though. If they do play Sexton at 7 this week and they play Marnie at 9 and they lose, is anyone going to say... Is anyone going to criticise Triado?
If they play Sexton at 6, Marnie at 9.
Like, I don't think they would. Like, there'd be no questions then. You know what I mean? Like, if they lose, then he'd be like, well, I've tried everything.
Yeah. I think it's because of the ins and outs. Like, I think, you know, you can even if he does pick Sexton at 7, Marnie at 9, Galvin at 6, Tracy at fullback, I think that the question could be, well, you took half a year of development away from this spine to gel because of all the ins and outs. Look, one thing you can never, ever claim or make the claim against Sorrell, though, is he lacks guts to make the tough calls.
Oh, absolutely.
If anything, he's too gutsy. I mean, we'll know in the next couple of years, but, geez, he has the guts to make big calls. Now, in regards to the Penrith side, like, really the only question is Dylan Edwards' confidence at the back at the moment and that rookie edge of Talangi, Casey McLean. Casey McLean's actually been pretty good. Really, it's just Talangi. There were 2 line breaks that were on his edge. That's really going to be the big questions for him. It's really the first series, at least in the last couple of series, that the Penrith Panthers have gone into where you've gone, there are some clear chinks in the armour. Now, those chinks may be fixed in the 7 days between games, but, like, the last 2 years, anytime you're playing the Penrith, you're like, where's the weak point?
Yeah.
Like, whereas right now, you could do video session and go, there are a couple of weak points here or there. So there is that, I guess.
Yeah, and that's if we're looking for something. Like,
you're looking for something.
Yeah,
seriously.
Like, I remember in 2021 or 2022, whenever Edwards and Toto were injured, and that was the thing. They're like, oh, you know, like, and then just out of nowhere, it completely just wasn't an issue for them. And that's just what they've done so good in finals in the last 4 or 5 years is they've just been able to adapt and they've dominated. So look, I'm bleeding blue and white this week. I hope the Doggies win, but I can't see it happening.
Yeah, I can't. Look, it'll be one of the great upsets if they do. But I just think the Panthers would be too clinical, too confident right now. Too confident.
Yeah, exactly. They've talked about peaking at the right time. They do it every year, but this year's been special.
Talk about gutsy calls. Ivan Cleary to go, you know what? Don't worry about the top 4. We're going to be better off if we rest all our players and get, you know, a home final doesn't matter to us because we don't have a home ground anyway, essentially. What a gutsy call.
For sure. Yeah. And it's funny, like, I don't think many people really push back on it, but, like, it's still ballsy.
It's still a ballsy call.
Yeah.
Like, to go, you know what? Like, and funnily enough, they probably could have fought and made the 4 if they had a...
If they won that game.
But, like, people dropped games then. So the Warriors dropped a bunch of games. Broncos didn't win every single game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they actually could have pushed for it. But anyway, ballsy call and just a belief in their playing group. Okay, before we got some breaking news with Tom Trbojevic. Guys, a new code for Code Sports. So brand new deal, and this will only be for finals footy. So make sure to use it, guys. Once it's done, once finals is done, it's done. So new link in the description notes. If you type the code finals, so with an S, so FINALS, then Code Sports are giving away you a subscription for just $1 for the first 3 months. So just $1 for the first 3 months. There's no better time to join, guys, as we're in the thick of the finals and the Ashes are just around the corner. No BS, just sports. $1 for the first 3 months, and it's just for finals footy, guys. So use code finals. Go to codesports.com.au/bloke. Use the code before it goes. And also, don't forget, guys, Aspley Mazda. Massive thank you to Aspley Mazda. If you're in the business for looking for a car, go to Aspley Mazda, the best in the business. If you want exclusive deals, give Lukey a message on Instagram, LDC_01. Make sure to be following him too. We've got some really big plans coming up with ourselves and Aspley Mazda and Lukey, but you've got to be following him. Give him a message. Even if it's just to ask him, even if you're just kind of thinking about a car, he can point you in the right direction. Make sure to shoot him a message. And a massive thank you, guys. Support people that support us. Code Sport and Aspley Mazda and Lukey, they're the ones that help this us create all this content. Without our partners, we literally cannot do it, guys. So give them a message.
Just on code, for all you Broncos fans out there, I read one this morning. They've just gone on what Madge has pretty much done all year. It's just a mad feature. It's worth the dollar.
Bro, some of these articles, like you can't, with all, like, podcasts are great for sure, but there's something about an in-depth article that you can't get on podcasts, like in-depth research, connections. Yeah. It's just so good. Okay, the breaking news: Tom Trbojevic, reportedly at least, set to stay at Manly. The Seagulls have tabled a 3-year extension worth $2.5 million to keep him at the club until the 2029. Quote from, and that's via Chamis. Trbojevic manager Paul Sutton met with Manly general manager Peter Gentle this week to discuss the client's future, following revelations that he may go to England. The Seagulls presented a 3-year extension that would keep Trbojevic on the Northern Beaches until the end of 2029. When he'll be 32 years old, the deal will be now submitted to the board for approval. The club has also a 1-year extension on the table for his brother that will keep him until 2027. Yeah, look, it's a tough one because, like, so he's available to speak to other clubs November 1.
Yep.
So, like, you can be critical of Manly and go, well, geez, like, with all the injuries and, you know, everything like that he's had, offering him a 3-year deal this early. However, I guess the same people that are super critical of Manly, it's like, well, if he goes to market and he leaves, they'd get smashed in the media. Like if Tommy was to go to another club and kill it, like, oh man, you'd never live it down. I guess the one question I have is it's just a 3-year thing, you know, like, I'll get it up here actually.
Because these 3 years, so that equates to be, I know the deals would be, the money would be staggered, but it's about $850 a year.
Which is like unders for his talents, yes, for sure. But it's just like 3 years. I'm just trying to get what he's averaged over the last. And look, I hate to do this because I love Tommy. He is just so good for the game. He's an absolute superstar. But you guys know on this podcast, we always try to be fair dinkum. Like, we may not rant and rave and, you know, abuse people on here. Like, you know, some people feel like we're not harsh enough on certain people, or not on certain people, on everyone. However, I think if you listen to this podcast, you know that we'll give our opinion, just not in a fucking super aggressive name where you go, oh, this guy's he's terrible, he's shit, get him out of here.
I think for Turbo though, like, there was an article that went around last year that he literally wanted to give money back because he felt bad. So I don't think it's the harshest thing in the world. We all know the injuries that Turbo's had.
So listen, as I said, love Turbo, but you've got to be fair dinkum. So 18 games this year, 20 games the year before, 11 games the year before, 7 games the year before, 18 games the year before, 7 games the year before, 12 games the year before. So since 2019, he's roughly averaging probably... So since 2019, he's averaged 13 games a year.
Geez, that's a lot lower than what I thought it was. Yeah, that's obviously not great.
And so I just, as I said, you know, I look at that and I just don't know about the 3-year extension. And if I'm being honest, if I was in that position, you know, and you guys, you know, I love Tommy. Everyone fucking loves Tommy. But, you know, is there a case of, mate, we've paid you a lot of money and you've delivered some incredible performances for us. But do we really, like, with the relationship that we've had and over all these years, and you've got paid a really good, really good wage, do we need to be forced to be offering you right now before November 1? Like, surely we have a better relationship because of everything we've been through together. And on both sides, like, you've delivered some of the greatest rugby league we've ever seen. At the same time, we've paid you a lot of money and you've averaged 13 games a season. Surely we've got a better relationship than we are and not saying that Tommy side's forcing this, but we're forced to give you a deal now instead of going, let's see how you go next year and then sit down and go year by year after that.
So what you're saying is, maybe give him a 1 or 2 year deal and
not even that. To be honest, and I know this is, maybe it's the wrong call, but I'd be sitting down and saying, mate, let's see how you go next year and then just sign year on extensions. Like, the way I would see it is this: we have been through so much as a relationship and we've stayed loyal to you. You've got paid a mozza. You've also done some great things for us. However, in the fair dinkum department, 13 games average over the last whatever years. Surely we're in a strong enough relationship position where we can go year on year and just see how things are going. Like, for example, if you come out, you play the whole season next year and you're looking fit and firing, here's a 2-year extension. But this idea that Manly should be offering him a 3-year extension more than a year out from the end of this current deal, I don't think that's smart business. I just don't. And you're dealing with a guy that was willing to give money back when he was struggling. So what I'm, I guess, surprised at is, like, I don't think Tommy wouldn't be open to this. I think he would be. Like, I just think there have been other clubs that have had relationships where they've got enough trust where they just take it year on year to see how things are going. And granted, if you're Tom's manager, you're saying, no, don't do that, mate. You can get $1 million somewhere else. Like, I get all that. But I just think that I'm just not sure offering a 3-year deal over a year out from his current deal worth $850K a year, if it is true that this is the case, I don't think it's smart.
I'll play devil's advocate to what you said, because I certainly don't disagree with you. But on the other side of things, could you argue that 800, 850 is still a lot, but it's unders, right? They've lost Terry Evans.
Well, it's unders compared to how good he can play. Yeah. It's not unders for a guy, unfortunately, that's averaged 13 games a year.
But then what if next year he gets the Dally M? Then what?
But surely you have a strong enough relationship to go, mate, you're killing it, you're fit. Like, here's your deal. Here's your 2-year deal, or here's your 3-year deal.
I don't reckon it's a terrible deal for Manly. I think 3 years. I know it's risky. I know 13 games a year doesn't read well at all. But I think getting Tommy at 28 years old at 850 for lock him down for 3 years, I don't think it's that bad.
So let's say the trend continues and he averages 13 games a year. You're saying paying him $850 a year for 13 games a year is worth it?
No. And it's just because it's him. He's such an outlier, and it's just a risk I'm willing to take. I know the evidence doesn't support what I'm saying. Like, I'm aware of that, but he's a once-in-a-generation player. So that's just why I think it's all right for me.
Well, the way I see it is this, is like, okay, yeah, always Tommy at his best can get us probably to a grand final. But the Manly Sea Eagles haven't fired a shot since 2021. So, yes, he's a great player, but at the end of the day, as a club, you're trying to win prems. You're not trying to sign great players. You're trying to win premierships. Yeah. And so, like, 850, although way unders of what his potential, not even potential, what he can do definitely, that's still $850K that you could be spending on multiple other players. Like, that's more than Fogarty's going to be earning. Like, think about the players you could get to the club. Like, the way I see it is this, is that, yes, obviously you want Tommy to be there forever. However, surely there is a better way than having to lock in to 3 more years. What if it gets worse, his injuries?
Then it's a disaster.
Like, to 3 more years. And what's crazy with that 13 number, mate, a lot, like, not a lot, but there have been a lot of games where Tommy, he's not playing fully fit.
Yeah, he's busted.
He's busted.
Yeah.
And he's so desperate to get back to the club that he's just out there.
Yeah.
I just think so reports came out last time that he was thinking about moving to Super League, and maybe whispers about frustrations with how everything's going. Look, Manly is such a basket case. So I can understand why Tommy might be like, mate, get me out of here. Like, I need to go somewhere else or whatever. But as I said, like, if the relationship is good, if it is good, then surely it's better than having to be forced to offer him a 3-year deal already. Like, surely they trust each other more than that. After everything they've been through together, that they need to give him a 3-year deal now?
Especially because it's like, and again, I'm
not saying Tommy's forcing it.
Yeah, no.
And I understand why his manager is. He's just trying to do the best for his client. So there's no bad guys in this situation, guys. There's no bad guys. I just think that surely the club can be run better than this.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Like, there is a sense that it's pretty widely known, not that anyone's ever said it, that Tommy probably won't play for another team. Like, he'd go overseas instead. So, like, you're right in this respect. Like, there was no race to get to his signature for another NRL club. And look, Tommy would say no.
To be honest, if there is, like, unfortunately, the numbers are 13 again. And look, these last 2 years have been relatively good. So, you know, since 2019, you could say that's skewing the numbers. Let's just look at his last 2 years. I guess then the next question is, out of those 18 and 20 games, how many has he looked full strength?
Yeah, so last year, I think he had a pretty good year. But the first half of this year, he was busted as. Actually, you know what? Even I think the first half of last year as well. Like, he was about to play Origin, then he did his hammy again or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was looking a bit ginger. So, yeah, it's only the back half of this year he kind of...
He looked great.
Yeah.
Back last month he looked great. So, I just think, me personally, surely their relationship is in a better space than having to... Like, why do they need to give him a 3-year deal now? I just don't understand that. Unless, if there are pressure from other clubs... Fair enough, but I feel like Manly, look, in regards to how they've treated him, I don't know, bro. That club is so fucking toxic. They may have treated him poorly, but just in regards to he's got paid a lot of money, and when he is fit, he definitely delivers. But a lot of these times he's been paid a lot of money. He's been in for quite a while. I just think that if they can't get into a position where they trust each other enough to maybe go year on year, like even from a Tommy's perspective, like let's say they go, let's see how you go next year, and he's killing it or whatever, and they go, here's another year for $1 million, and then I don't know, the next year they screw him over or whatever. There's going to be other clubs that will pay you $1 million.
Of course there is.
So like options for Tommy, if he is playing week in, week out, are not going to be a problem. So when you sit down and you weigh all of this, I don't see what pressures other than, you know, one team getting more out of the other are forcing this 3-year deal right now. I don't get it. I think Manly's recruitment has just been really, really poor for quite a while. And like, you look at the Schuster situation, like they've just been given these long deals willy-nilly. Like, we're talking about a team that essentially isn't a top 8 side. They've got multiple players on 5-year deals.
And that's what I was thinking as well. Like, re-signing Tommy is literally the least of their worries at the moment when it comes to recruitment. Like, they need to get front rollers. They need to get, like, forwards. They definitely don't need more backs, but they're like...
Their
roster balance right now is a schmozzle. It's a great word.
Yeah, it's complete. And so you're sitting here going, all right, let's lock in Tommy more than a year out from his contract, when surely you can sit down with him mid-year next year. How's the body feeling, mate? You've played some great footy. You know what? Here's a year extension, $1 million. You're all good with that? Yep. All right. Let's see how let's revisit this next year when we're out. Surely you are a healthy enough club to have that. That's what I don't get. Locking in a 3-year deal, it just makes no sense. It just makes no sense, especially even from Tommy's side. If it is true that he was considering getting out of there, going to England, mate, do you really want to be in that joint for another 3 years with how everything's been panning out? Fuck.
He must love that club.
He fucking loves it. Yeah. You know he loves it. Yeah. Like there is no questioning Tommy's loyalty, his love for the club. He has stuck by that club when he could have left many times. And yes, they've stuck by him with contracts, but like, look at all the toxic stuff that comes out of that club. Like, think about it. If we sit here and get tired talking about it, imagine what it's like inside that club. Like, they're the only club in the NRL that I've ever seen where it is it's not even a secret, but it's an open secret that the playing group doesn't get along with the coach when it comes to coaching methods, and they just rock up to work each day and play. And everyone knows. Coach knows, CEO knows, fucking journos know, I know, you know. And it's just like, oh yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
like,
it's a leaking toxic ship, basically.
And you're just going, what
sinking.
The hell? So yeah, as I said, you guys know, like, look, there is a very, very tiny loud minority. It's like, oh, you know, you're not harsh enough on people, but it's like, No, we give our opinion. We're just not dicks about it. And my opinion is I don't think Tommy right now, I wouldn't be offering him a 3-year deal. I think that the first point of call is how do we get this relationship with one of our superstar players into a good enough position where we trust each other. That's my opinion. But you would do the 3-year deal.
Would I do a 3-year deal? I'll probably, if I had to choose, I'd probably do a 2-year deal with maybe a mutual option or something. I don't know. I wasn't saying I completely agree with him, but I say I certainly understand it. I certainly understand why they did it, and locking him down for 800. Hopefully now they can just sit back and. Ooh, fuck. All right, it's the end of the podcast.
Well, if this is the end, shout out to Menulog. Khan Pereira, we're going to have to speak that another time. Sign up to Lontel. Okay, it was a joke.
Think we're good.
We're good.
What's wrong with this building this week?
Wow. I'll get a call from Lontel saying, "You okay, brother?" Greatest customer service in history. Yeah, let us know in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the situation? What I will say is I'm not so sure in my opinion. Like, I don't know for sure this is the right call. I would just be at the end of the day, the way I would be trying to run a club is I'm not trying to sign the great players. I'm not trying to sign. That's not my number one priority. My number one priority is how do we win a premiership? And so, if it comes to a point where I've got this great player that's umming and ahhing about leaving and all these other factors are happening, I think all the good clubs, they have enough self-respect and confidence in themselves to go, if we lose one, we lose one. And I know it's very different. You talk about Tommy Turbo, one of the fucking unbelievable. But you've got to always keep the end goal in mind. Is this going to help us win a premiership? Is this going to help us win a premiership? Do we need to be forced into the position? Is us being forced into signing this player for 3 years longer now, more than a year out? Is that going to get us? Is this best for the club when it comes to winning a competition?
And if I'm going to take your side for a moment, I love looking at form lines, and that's how I look at anything really. And the evidence kind of shows that it hasn't recently. It hasn't.
It really hasn't. It just, unfortunately, it hasn't. Obviously him and his best. Fuck,
you could argue it's the best.
Seriously, not even his best. You give me Tommy Turbo 8 out of 10 playing 20 games a year, mate. $1 million a year, I'll take that any day of the week. Any day of the week. Okay, so Khan Pereira, he has reportedly informed the Titans that his preference is to live in New Zealand in 2026. The club has granted him his permission to speak with the Warriors. This one's a bit strange because, this is angled Khan Pereira has let them know that he'd like to live somewhere else. Bruh. Titans let him know that they didn't want him in the first grade side the whole friggin' year. What are we talking? They're acting I don't know. It's a bit strange because you're acting like this player hasn't already been completely brushed by the Titans all year long.
Yeah, and not only has he been brushed, there's been articles that he's wanted or not that he's going to leave pretty much the last 4 months.
Very strange. This idea that, it's Khan Pereira that wants to leave. It's fuck. Bro, he's been sitting in reserve grade while you've had, he's arguably the best winger at the club, can barely get a crack.
Yeah, getting a try game since his debut.
And it's just now he's been informed he wants to go live in New Zealand. Pretty sure he just wants to be playing friggin' first grade.
Exactly.
Very, very strange. Look, trying to think. The wingers there at the moment, Wateni's Lesniak. RTS is getting a little bit older. I mean, they're both getting a bit older. Yeah, don't mind it. Not bad. You wouldn't break the bank, that's for sure.
He'd look good in a Warriors jersey.
Yeah, he would. Super quick. And look, I will say I really do trust Andrew Webster's coaching ability. He's a bloody good coach.
I want to see Khan Pereira just have a really amazing year. Those breakout years? I want to have because when he's on, he's so good.
Oh, he's an excitement machine. Okay, now we've had some awards that we've posted on socials. Okay, so here is the player of the year for all the clubs we have so far. RTS wins player of the year for the Wars. Look, I thought RTS's, especially his back half of the year, was incredible, outstanding. However, for me, Aaron Clark is my player of the year for the Warriors, with RTS a very close second, because that back end of the year was outstanding. But for me, Aaron Clark is a lock for Dally M lock of the year, and I would have had him player of the year for the Wars.
It's funny how you'll say that, and I totally agree. I got a sick feeling they'll just overlook him.
Bro, That's when I give. No, I don't have to give. Look, I can't give permission to anyone, but I will. If the whole country riots, I will be there with you. I will be there with you, bro. Aaron Clark is Dally M lock of the year, and honestly, it's not even close.
Yeah, it's not.
It's honestly not even close. Now, granted, you go, oh, hang on a sec, like, you know, this player played better here in this game, and he played a 9 out of 10, and Aaron Clark only played an 8 out of 10. Bro, he has consistently been an 8 out of 10 essentially every single game this year. Like, the only way he doesn't get lock of the year is because of recency bias or something.
Yeah.
But who would get it?
Like, the only person I think who might get it is Big Red, who played front row for half the year.
Or is it White? Because he's playing 13 at the moment. Isaiah Yo maybe, but like...
It's Clark.
It's got to be Aaron Clark, bro. Like, come on. Okay, Brimson. AJ Brimson wins the Paul Broad Medal, Tigers Player of the Year award. The thing with Brimo is like, bruh, doesn't matter whether his team's playing crap or it's playing great. He impacts games. He's actually insane. You get him in a key position where he's comfortable, he will impact a game. Gutho, Player of the Year for the Dragons. Trying to think. Seems about right. Definitely first half of the year, really strong. Lulled a little bit, came back strongish towards the end, and then the last couple of weeks was lulled again.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think, outside of that, he probably would be the Player of the Year for me. Anyone else stand out for you?
No. Seriously, I had to think about this yesterday.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty clear of the Dragons.
Like, if some of these younger fellas had kept playing, like Couchman and Egan's and that, like, you know, maybe they could have jagged it. But with all the little stuff that Gutho does, like, you know, I think it's a fair shout. Stephen Crichton wins the Doggies Player of the Year. Yep, I definitely see that.
Sure.
Definitely see that. Geez, you think about all the big moments he has, like, just unbelievable. Okay, Cleary wins Merv Cartwright medal players. Yeah, I can see that. Trying to think, like, yeah, I can see that. Like, it's not Nathan Cleary, one of the greatest players of all time. I think Mitch Kenny's been pretty good this year. I'm trying to think of some other players in that spine. The forward pack. Yeah. Like, I think Moses Leota has been friggin' good this year, bro. Like, I think he's been so good. He does not get the credit he deserves, Moses Leota. Like, he has one job and he goes and does it essentially perfectly every single week. But yeah, okay, Cleary, I'll call that. Saifidi, to be honest, I think tough year at the Knights. Like, I probably would have given it to
if Sharp didn't get injured, it was all him. Oh,
really? No, mine was Dylan.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
If he, I know him getting injured, but even with him getting injured, like, I still would have considered.
He was only injured for like 6 weeks at the start of the year, wasn't he, Lucas? Even still,
Lucas,
even still, he
was so good. Yeah. Every game, he was one of their best players.
But
Dylan Lucas.
Yeah, if you're not looking at like games played, the best two players of the Knights this year were Dylan Lucas and Fletcher Sharp.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I probably would have lent towards Dylan Lucas. Even though he's injured, I probably would have just given it to him. Manly, Kohler wins. Absolutely deserved.
No brainer.
Absolutely deserved. And, like, probably won't win Dally M Centre of the Year, but he should be in the conversation.
I agree.
He has flown so far under the radar for the rest of the NRL. Bro, Kohler's had easily the best year of his career. And, like, without Kohler, Manly, like, I reckon there's at least 2 or 3 games they lose without Kohler.
I think if he doesn't win, if he did win Centre of the Year, like, I'd still think Critter and Farnworth should win it, but I'm not going to, like, blow up about it.
Yeah, like, I've got Critter and Farnworth clear ahead, but it's not like the craziest robbery I've ever seen or anything like that. Jai Arrow for South, yep, I can see that. I think Jai Gray.
Jai Gray won every other award.
Yeah. The only problem for Jai Gray is there was a little bit of a dip in the middle of the year when they were trying to find his position. Yeah. Like, he come off the bench and it, like, didn't really click for him, and then
there was also a part of the year where he played reserve grade.
Yeah.
To be honest, I thought Keon was going to get it, but I'm not mad about Jai Arrow.
I'm happy. Like, the thing with Jai Arrow is you've got to watch closely, but, mate, there isn't a single game where he isn't ripping and tearing. Every game. Keon was injured for not a lot, but quite a bit.
Yeah, back end of the year.
Yeah. So probably a fight between them. I think if Jai Gray plays all year long, he gets it.
Oh yeah,
because he
got like members player, like everything.
Mate, this brings happiness to the heart. Jack Williams, I think this is a great selection. And you know what I love about this for the Eels is the easy option was Mitch Moses. The easy option is give it to Mitch Moses. You know, But Jack Williams has been there all year long, and it's a real testament to the message they're trying to send as a club to everyone else. Like, we reward hard workers. Like, yes, Mitch Moses, tip of the spear, he's our main guy. We need him in the side. But we're going, Jack Williams has been a toiler for them from round one all the way to the end of it. Like, he's been so good. So
I don't hate it. I think I would have gone Iongi. I know he was injured at the end of the year, but geez, he was mad.
Well, if Iongi wasn't injured, I think he gets it.
Yeah.
I just think the fact that, because Jack Williams, let's try and figure out how many games he played on this year.
And he had so many like really, really good games.
And it's also, he does a lot of stuff that isn't flashy. He doesn't get the highlight reel. You don't see it.
And we had him on, and he's like, and like you asked him, you're like, oh, like sometimes you're in the middle, sometimes you're on the edge, sometimes you switch, and he's like, yeah, I'm just switching all the time.
Yep. So this year, he played 21 games. He played 21 games this year. He switched between second row, started the year second row, went to prop, went to second row towards the back end. Okay, so. You know what? That kind of might defeat our argument, because if Iongi... I
would have thought Jack Williams played more than that.
Yeah, me too, but it says 21.
21 out of 20.
Well, you know what's funny is it's the same amount of appearances as Iongi.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Okay, fair enough.
I still don't hate it. Like, it's...
I don't look. Yeah. I think it's a good message to send.
Yeah.
About rewarding tough players, but... Looking at that now, I probably would have given it to Iongi. But anyway, I don't hate it at all. Okay, sorry, just quickly got out for some reason. Joe Gray, Cowboys, Dearden. Yep, I can see Dearden. Trying to think someone else that was really good for him.
I don't think that one was close, to be honest.
Yeah, probably Dearden. Like, back end of the year, Scotty Drinkwater started to rip.
Yeah, he did. He did.
But yeah, Dearden, I can see that. Tarpanet, Raiders, absolutely.
Yeah.
And is it his 4th year in a row or something?
Oh, I'll check.
I think it's like his 4th or 5th year in a row, because it basically went Papali'i and then straight into Tarpanet. And then Teddy wins the Jack Gibson medal.
Yep.
That is...
Yeah, it's his 4th in a row.
4th in a row.
Tarpanet.
So Tedesco, it's his 7th time in a row he's won. Sorry, 7th time that he's won the award out of 8 years being at the club. Jesus.
And that one-off year was when everyone said he's washed. Like, Teddy's washed. He's won 3 medals since then, or 2 medals since then.
I reckon Teddy's going to win the Dalian by a record margin.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, by a landslide.
See, I thought Cleary might have been a sniff, and I also thought Harry Grant might have been a sniff. Harry Grant's now gone, and Cleary didn't play a couple of games at the end of the year. Even if they both played, Teddy was still going to win, so I'm with you.
Alrighty, that is us done. Just don't forget, guys, Aussie footy shorts. They got limited edition. They got bloke. They've also got all their own designs. Footy shorts with pockets, guys. Go to Aussie Footy Shorts website. Make sure to grab your footy shorts. They're super comfy. Trust me. Once you go Aussie Footy Shorts, you never go back. And do not forget, make sure to sign up to Lontel, guys. The best internet in the business. You will not regret it. At the moment, we've got the free week. Also got $25 credit, no contracts. You only pay for what you use. It's the most flexible. It's the best. You will not regret it. And give us a follow on the feed. A massive thank you, as always, to Sportsbet for partnering with the show, being so supportive. And to be honest, a big reason why we are here today. They are a key partner to us. So give us a follow on the feed. I've got a bunch of bets up there. And also a massive shout out to KO. I'm heading out to Bathurst, actually. So that'll be fun. Yeah, with KO. So that'll be fun. Be a person that doesn't know much about the V8s going out there and experience it. So can't wait for that. Outside of that, anything else going on?
Yeah, one more thing. Herbie Farnworth got Dolphins Player of the Year. That was last.
Oh, yeah, lock it in.
That was last night.
Yeah, like, of course he did. Mate, Herbie Farnworth, bro. Talk about impact of a centre. Like, since he got injured, their season fell apart. And I know they had a bunch of other injuries, but they already had those injuries.
He is so good.
He is freaking so good. You know, it's... maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but, like, initially I was like, I just think he's an out-and-out centre. He'll always be a centre. But I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing him at fullback.
I want to see it.
A full preseason. Obviously, it's not going to happen to the Dolphins because they got guns. But imagine him with the ball in his hands more.
Yeah. Like a couple of years ago, you'd think it's not going to happen because he can't pass. But now, like, he's just improving every single year.
Everybody's game.
Yeah.
Everybody. You just want to see blokes like him succeed as well. Like, I mean, yeah. I joke about it all the time, but it's true. Like me saying I thought he was a really good centre, but I don't know if he could ever get into that top tier. And like just talking to him about it, he was so humble, like very easy for him to just go, like, give it to me. You know?
yeah.
Like, who are you, you loser? Like, you're the one talking about footy. I'm the one actually playing it. So humble, so respectful. You just want to see blokes like that win. And he's another player, needs a premiership.
Yeah.
And he's another player that's so hurt by this Origin thing. Honestly,
big time.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I reckon, and I'm not sure how far into this I am, but I reckon the thing that holds him back from being put in the same tier as Critter, because Critter is in his own tier, and granted, it's because he's won premierships as well, but I reckon if Herbie played Origin, I reckon that's the last little step that stops people from going, you know what, Herbie and Critter are essentially on the same tier. Now, granted, it's a tough question because you go, okay, are you telling me that the Panthers wouldn't have won those 4 premierships if Herbie was the centre there instead of Critter? It's a tough one because you don't want to take away from what Critter did, and he had big moments.
It's hard because he had so many big moments.
So many big moments, for sure. But I do think that Herbie suffers from the Origin, and so do a lot of Kiwis players. Like a lot of players that don't play Origin, they do suffer from, like even Burgess to a degree. Now, granted, Burgess just was so good that he forced his way into the GOAT talk. But imagine if Burgess or Taumalolo's reputation over the years if they were playing Origin.
Yeah. Yeah, like even Hughes before he won the Dally M last year. All right. I think this is an easy one.
I still have Critter as the top tier. Don't get me wrong. I'm not changing that. I'm just saying I reckon the gap between them would probably lessen a little bit if Herbie played Origin.
And so do I. I have Critter number 1. But if the Dally M system was you only got one centre of the year like they used to, just for this year,
it'd be Herbie.
It would be.
Yeah, it'd be Herbie for me.
It would be.
Now, the tough thing is like, how do you measure the intangible that Critter does? Like, how do you measure the captaincy side of things that he does? Like, that's the hard thing. And so, like, and people go, well, you've got to measure it. But then it's like, well, hang on a sec. Then if you've got to measure it for Critter, you've got to measure it for every player that's a captain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The intangible things they bring. And then you would almost have to go, well, you're probably going to just put the Dalian picked from like the top tier sides because of the intangible stuff the captain's bringing. So if I remove the captaincy and I just look at, this year, I probably would have Herbie there instead of Critter, only by like a fucking beefstick.
Yeah.
I will say with Critter, and as I said, Critter is still for me out and out.
Critter's the best centre in the comp.
Best centre in the game. I'll never forget game 1 Origin this year. I've never seen a man double defend in Origin by himself.
That was insane.
I've never, ever, ever seen it. And maybe it's before my time watching rugby league. But if you can find me a time when you've ever seen in Origin, blokes get sent to the bin and a centre goes out there and goes, don't worry, I'll take care of it. It's one of the greatest pieces of defensive centre work I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was not only ridiculous for the coaches to already know to put so much trust in him, then to just do it. He just did it.
I just never seen anything like it. Like the ability to have a feel for the game, knowing I'm going to jam here, I'm going to slide here, I'm going to give myself time on an edge here. I've never seen anything like it. And it's gotten lost in the noise of the Queensland victory. It's one of the greatest pieces of defensive work I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, outrageous.
Like he is just, and what's so special about Critter is we're just getting started, bro.
Yeah.
We are just getting started. Like Critter is so good that there are times in games where he realizes, okay, I've done everything I can as a leader to get us to victory. Now I'm going to take my leader hat off and I'm going to put my superstar hat on and I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah.
He does that sometimes.
Well, yeah, against the Raiders this year. When they were 20-0 down at halftime, he's like, all right, follow me.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to play selfishly now. Instead of making everyone else great, because that's what Critter does. He's all about making everyone else great. And that's what great captains do. It's about making everyone else great. He goes, okay, this has gotten to a point now where only my ability can get us out of this. And then he just goes, Bob, thanks for coming.
He's special. I just had to look up his age. I knew what his age was just to remind myself. He's 24 still.
Right. And what's Herbie? Like 23?
He turns 25 in 3 days, but still, what's Herbie?
What's Herbie, 23, 24? Both those boys.
He's 25.
25. Like both those boys are just, and they're different, like Herbie, like I'm sure eventually Herbie probably could be a captain, but they're different styles of centre. Like Herbie is, all right, I'm the superstar. I am the tip of the spear on everything that we do. Get me the ball and I'll make something happen. Whereas Critter, he's more, a lot of the time he focuses on, okay, I'm a captain first, player second. And it's all just about what are the intangible things I can do defensively, attacking wise to get us to win. But if I need to, I've got this extra gear that Herbie also has, where you go, give me the ball, I'll make something happen. And so that's where I think like individually on the special things they can do, attacking wise anyway, they probably could do similar-ish things. But I think it's the captaincy side, the intangible side that really do make Critter great. And also like just the big moments he's had in big games. Like, could Herbie have those big moments? I think he could, but until he does...
Critter has, yeah.
Critter's just done, he has. So I can't wait to see both players develop. Like,
I can't wait to see Herbie in the England this year against Australia.
Man, I'd go as far to say is like Critter and Herbie, I reckon they could hold their own against most of the best centers ever. The only guy that like sticks out is Greg Inglis, obviously, like, and obviously Mal Meninga. But like, and even then, I wouldn't say they're just going to get carved. But that's how highly I regard them two as centers. Like, they are special talents.
Especially like Critter. If Critter played Inglis in Origin, like Josh Morris held his own against Inglis in Origin. Like, Critter can definitely do it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. It's just because they're so young, you don't want to start throwing that out there.
Gas them out too
early. For me personally, like, Greg Inglis is still the greatest center of all time.
Oh, he is. Seriously, sometimes when I'm bored, I just watch his highlights on YouTube. It's ridiculous. Bro,
seriously. But yeah, Critter, amazing. That double defense he did in Origin, it got lost in the noise, and for the diehards like me, we'll speak about it. But if they had gone on to win that series, I reckon, obviously the Spencer Leniu kicking to either side, that got talked about a lot. But I reckon all the documentaries that you go back, like, when there's a huge win and they make a little doco about it, I reckon that would have been one of the plays they would have gone over. Like, they would have talked about the message that he got out in the field. Like, what did they tell you? And he's like, the trainer told me that I'm going to have to go to... Because he swapped sides, didn't he?
Yeah, he swapped sides.
Like, that's how much faith they had in him. They're like, oh, okay, we're down a man. We're going to tell Critter to swap sides and double D.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Outrageous.
Crazy stuff. Both absolute guns. And just a pleasure to watch both of them play footy. Like, the stuff they do on the footy field is just like, bro, what's happening right now?
Or did they swap sides, or did they move Critter's winger to the other side? Either way, he was by himself. He was by himself, yeah.
Regardless, it was crazy. Herbie's a gun. Critter's a gun. They'll both win Dally M Centers of the Year.
For the third year in a row. Which is insane. You know what? That's what we need to find out. Have there ever been a pairing from different sides that have also changed clubs that have won Dally M Centers, like, positions of the year 3 years in a row? Definitely not, because they
couldn't come in.
They only gave 2 positions a few years ago, but still.
But even if you just looked at one of them, let's say you just went Critter, 3 years in a row at different clubs, that would be pretty rare. That would be pretty rare. And what's crazy is he doesn't look like he's slowing down. He honestly might win fucking 6 years in a row.
Dead set.
Like,
I'm having a quick look at the list just for centers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look deeper.
Yeah. Alrighty. As always, guys, a massive thank you to Longtel for supporting the platform, partnered with the show now. I'm actually literally going to go home now and play video games with them. Absolute legends. Andrew, Borderlands 4, cannot wait. Let's go. Alrighty. I'll go and fuck myself. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.